multiverse. And, so a lot of beings are doing better spiritually, they're free, but the guy's family is pretty poor. So he sees like, oh shit, like, well, if I leave the peace, then my family will not do so good. So while changing the timelines, you changed for the better of like everyone. And he's like, no, 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 my family will not be as successful. We'll have to work harder. He doesn't want that. So he goes back and
Yeah.
changes the time, and it's basically like a backstabbing you, like betraying the work that you
Yeah.
do. And so you don't have the agreement, like, oh, okay, like, you don't agree on the same subject. So he goes like and tries to mess with a lot of people, like trying to tell the story and turn them against you. So a lot of people that you trust start betraying you. Like, like they all of a sudden everyone that you knew and trusted and loved and cared for are turning against, and they're pretty much like betraying you on every single place, and you're being left alone again and again and again. And you're still looking for like, okay, well, even though a lot of shit is happening, you're still gonna go for helping them. I mean, like helping the like multiverse. So you still keep playing with the time wars, and it's like literally doing an operation. There's a string, and like there's certain events that happen. Basically, you cut it out, and you like plug in like a whole new thing with better reality. It's like Mandela effect and stuff. If that makes sense so far.
Yeah.
Well, it does resonate with me because I really hate conflict. It's a big thing. I always try to help people and I get backstabbed a lot. So, I mean, it kind of does resonate. And I don't like being alone. I always want someone with me when I do things and, feel that backup support, and then they tend to backstab me. And, it really does resonate with me.
Yeah. So like basically carries over to a lot of lifetimes to where you did good and you made sure like, okay, well, this specific multiverse will do better. People will be in peace. There will be no war. And even though one of your like friends' family has to work harder, they're not suffering or anything. So it's more like, oh shit, like we
Yeah.
have to like work more often, like say do more gardening, for example, instead of like selling out and like, getting tons of money. It's not tortured or like enslaved like
Exactly.
But anyway, so you still can't go on keep helping people and changing timelines for the better. But that guy basically starts like targeting you specifically, and he goes on from one lifetime after another, trying to turn everyone against you. And so whoever you like interact with, you might have had a great relationship with, you might have been friends, you know each other for quite a while. That guy appears and turns the person completely against you. So you can show up like with a person, let's say your uncle. The first impression, he's kind of a good guy, like he's kind of like taking care of you. First impression, like probably a good guy. Then that guy appears, changes, flips the person, and he's already like trying to sell you, get rid of you, and different sort of stuff. So with that mechanism, basically the guy from your very long past life tries to mess with you and like create mechanisms that are basically you appear, and he's gonna try to turn everyone against you, try to make sure like they betray you and stuff, to the point where you cannot work in groups anymore. You have to isolate yourself. You have to be away from everyone. And then, like, oh, I'm alone. No one's going to betray me, and I can do my own work and stuff. And that's sort of like pretty much like where he pushed you. And the whole panic attack, like the resonance is like around people, you don't know how they're going to act. And they're constantly triggering you. So there's like tons of things like around others that like constantly, like, even right now, you don't have to do anything. But when there's other people around, your subconscious mind is basically trying like, oh fuck, like you better expect something to happen because it did. Like,
that's pretty much a constant. Yeah, because
so
even like way back in school, like I couldn't work in group. I always felt paranoid, and if the atmosphere in the classroom was good, then I could work along. But that was like one in I don't know how many days, and it was really rare, like a blue moon. So yeah, it really resonates with me because it's a still daily life thing pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. So seeing this bigger picture, I can go into like the original place and basically start changing things up where the guy's family can flourish in a better world where you create peace. Like basically changing timelines again, but making sure I do something for him that makes his family successful and he gets what he wants, but he doesn't have to sell out to the dark side. And from then on, making sure like we carry the chain of reaction thing where he does not target you and he tries not to flip people around you and stuff. And then
that would be amazing.
Looking at other possible agreements, decisions, beliefs that you've made that like around people they're going to betray you, they're going to backstab you, hurt you, and all of these things that like might still be in place.
That would be amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. And let's say, do you have like any feelings or beliefs or like repetitive phrases when you're around people? Like, you're in a class, like, in a crowd or maybe like class or something, and then, you feel like you're going to be betrayed or people will not listen to you, acknowledge you or anything.
I always think they're looking at me or talking about me. That's like, I think a main thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's on the streets, when random people I don't even know, so I don't know. And if it's with people I know, I guess it's more of a well, I just know they often tell me I play the victim when I'm not even trying to do that, and it's like, but you don't understand me, and I'm trying to explain, and it's not coming through, and different communication, I guess, that you know misunderstood somewhere along the lines. I always think they're talking behind my back or not being truthful or yeah, pretty much being betrayed all the time at this point. And I still try to believe, but I, you know, distrust at the same time. It's a double-edged sword. Trust too much and not at all.
So like also like other people perceiving you like you're playing a victim. Are there any specific things that they say or anything that you feel and try to get through? Because like first thing I'm picking up is basically a fake mechanism that creates a perception for others. It's not like you're doing anything, but they perceive you as a victim.
Yeah, they
And it's all
always
for
perceive me
arbitrary.
as a victim when I'm not even trying. I'm just like trying to explain how things have happened or how I feel about something when I'm trying to tell that for a change. And because sometimes I just keep it in, but at some point you can't anymore, and they're always like, oh, you're playing the victim, you're always victimizing yourself. It's like, no. I'm not even trying to. It's one's truth might not be another's, but it's mine.
Yeah. And are there any specific phrases or something that they accuse you of being a victim of? Like you're always like trying to get attention or something like it?
Yeah, mostly attention. That's the biggest thing they say. They just want attention.
Yeah.
That's the main thing that pops up, because I think there are a few others, but that's not as frequently said as the attention thing.
Yeah. And what are some of those like say things? Let's see, not as frequent, but like something that pops up.
Um, Mostly attention thing, or that I'm always just trying. One other thing that always pops up as well is that I'm always just sad, or sad again. It's always something with you. You always feel bad or stuff. That stuff as well.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically I'll go to that original incident and try to clear up everything, and then I can look into this mechanism of how other people perceive you and work with
Okay.
that as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Stuff. That. Mm-hmm. That's the stuff. Mhm.
All right. Yeah. Basically, I went back in the original place and talked to the guy. I said, like, like, okay, like, what do you want? What are your preferences? So I took like his whole family and like all the relatives and stuff, and created a realm from them where they're not gonna be in the timeline. They're gonna be away, and they
Yeah.
just like want to be lazy people. Like they don't want to work. They don't want to do anything. They just want to like like rich lazy people here on Earth. Similar station where don't do anything but bring me money, bring me food, bring me all the pleasures and stuff. Like similar stuff like long time ago. So basically, I created a realm for them, and I put them in there. Like, okay, like like be there, do whatever you want, but don't interfere with us. And so I made him undo all the like bad things that he did to you, like turning people. Like it's like as if like everyone's living in this cloud where they're affected and like they become zombies who are controlled and stuff. So like like
Mhm.
basically that's things like taken away, and people should like be like more awake and more present rather than like they're there, but there's like a mechanism that can pop up and take over, and all of a sudden they're turning against you, trying to betray you, backstab you, talk bad about it and stuff like that. So it should not
Yeah.
be a thing. uh it's also like connected to you and your boyfriend, where like same group of like of people, let's say uh, like the very original one that like changes the timeline is, let's say, here, but then it affects more and more and more and more and more people throughout the like multiverse and different timelines, to
Mhm.
where there's billions and trillions of beings targeting you and thinking bad of you. So like all of them
Yeah.
like constantly see like, hey, she's a bad being, we need to stop her, blah blah blah. And all of these people, they can be tons of different races, can be humans, Lyrans, Pleiadians, can be reptilians, like doesn't matter. Basically, whatever role, but they're playing against you and trying to see like, oh, she's on Earth right now, let's mess with her and like affect everyone around us so that even they would know what kind of being she is. But all of them are being
Yeah.
controlled at the same time and deceived. So I basically woke them up like, hey, like you've been bamboozled and stuff. So they're like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck. So there's that. So seeing how these people affect your relationship with your boyfriend, like trying to like constantly get something in between, like you say, like like there's like a good time and everything's good, and then you get like epilepsy, and then like all of a sudden like your relationship changes. So there's a lot of
Mm.
like thoughts where they put stuff in his head, and all of a sudden he's more reactive, is more triggered, and the perception of reality that he experiences is different from what is real. So all of a sudden
Yeah.
he sees things way like in a whole different way that's actually negative, and he gets more triggered and reacts to it when it's actually not a thing. And he's living like it's like he's living in a whole new world. So I go through that thing, and if I'm right, you have a daughter.
Yes, I have a daughter.
Yeah.
She's about
So
8 months.
yeah. So basically, similar groups connected the whole cluster of beings that are messing with you and your boyfriend. Um, they're terrorizing her at night, like trying to like
She's
her out
crying
and
more at
stuff.
night of late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of the things that happens, like they're pulling her out of body and trying to terrorize her over there and then push her back. So like it's a constant trigger, because like she's a free being, she's not affected by the system or anything, so she can get
Mhm.
out and actually be in worlds where she can, let's say, heal and be loved and like get a lot of appreciation and actually be in a very nurturing place. So like like she's being nurtured like simultaneously like here on Earth with you, and like with other beings who like like, oh yeah, like you're an amazing being, and they just want to make sure like she grows well in this like universe. But
Yeah.
these beings like constantly try to pull her out and terrorize her so that she would like be afraid to get out and be nurtured and taken care of.
Yeah, because she at one point doesn't even want to go to bed anymore. She's always kicking or screaming, I don't want to sleep, even though she's tired. And she's crying more and more often in her sleep.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned once to you, I'm not sure if I got to you, that I had a dream where I suddenly was in her room and like, black gooey like hands kind of like were grabbing her from her crib, and that was a really spooky dream. I did not like that. So I felt she was being attacked, and in her room she's more paranoid, I feel, as well.
Yeah.
So
So I removed a few groups that are like messing with her, your boyfriend, and you and stuff. Another thing, like like you mentioned the black hands and stuff. I could go like scan quickly, like right now, like see if there are any other beings in her space trying to mess with her. Like each of them, and then we can like look at the other subjects or like go into like the whole panic thing deeper, look for other stuff.
yeah, if she's okay, then that would be good for me as well because she's my priority. Even though I have to look at myself, she's my world now.
All right, and I'll go check out like what's the thing with the black hands and all.
Thank you.
That. That. Mm-hmm. That. 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 Big time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, like so like I was scanning her space and like there was this like portal in her space and your space. So like there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
beings who don't want you to be happy, both like you and your daughter, and they're like trying to pull you into that world, like make sure like like you're sort of like stuck in that goo and like sort of like basically suppressed and unable to express yourself and all that. So like I closed up
Mm-hmm.
the portals and I was cleaning up the space, and it seems like your daughter's like one amazing being. Like let's say
She feels like that for me already. So.
yeah, so like let's say in this like physical universe where a lot of beings don't have their powers, she does. She came on clean, and she doesn't have any like shit from like that carry over, or she too much like of stuff that will like trigger her. So
Mm-hmm.
she can like let's say get out of her body, and like while even if she's here on the physical universe, she can think of a thing and she manifests things like right away. So the bad guys are getting their ass kicked because like let's say she's gonna
Nice.
accidentally ends up on a spaceship of like dark side, like uh-oh, and then she creates a teddy bear that's actually like a warrior, and he can kick ass a pharaoh one and like destroy the whole ship, and she's gonna be protected and loved, but the whole like the crew of the like reptilians loses their spaceship and like they had their ass kicked. So like it's sort of like happens
Amazing.
naturally, but she does this kind of like work just like exploring things, and so like they see her as a threat. She has too much of this creativity and visualization, and she can like manifest things way too much. So like trying to make sure like like she's scared and terrified to create and stuff like that. They're trying to stop her on these sort of levels. So like I cleaned up her room and the ends from the space, like they're constantly trying to grab her and stuff and like drain the energy. Like if you feel like like you or your daughter like have like the tiredness, exhaustion, like energy drain, that's the
I
same group.
do.
So I got
Yeah.
rid of them. And like agreements, like she has like this like little implant to basically try to suppress her creativity or visual skills. So I got rid of her. It's basically not physical but like astral, like kind of like beaming and trying to suppress or like make sure like you don't think about it or like focus on something else but not creative stuff. So that thing is gone. And one thing like you could probably try out is, let's say, get one of the toys that she likes, and let's say with your visual like skills, like create a being, and it can be any kind of being. You can like create a warrior or a protector or whatever, like sentinel. Basically, that being is gonna like guard her, but you can ask the being to
Yeah.
like go get into that toy and be around her. So when she goes to sleep with the toy, the being will always be like close to her and stuff like that. So like, that's one of the things to try out.
Yeah, she has many teddy bears in her bed. And when she goes to sleep, it's kind of, I guess my wife will always say, like, no, good night, go explore. So, because I want her to be free and out there, because she can still do that when, I can't. I only have black, and I don't even think I'm getting out at this point. So, yeah, I want her to be able to do all that. And I'll tell her when she, growing up, because I don't want her to be attacked because I'm telling too soon, because I felt that was already happening at one point. So, she's amazing. Sick and still all happy and kicking.
That's good.
So,
Well, what are your thoughts, Rich?
Well, the thing I was just thinking is she a lot like you? Like were you like that when you were that age? That's what I was thinking. You asked me what my thoughts were. I was thinking, is her daughter like
So,
you were
yeah.
like? Were you like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I kind of come out of a family, I guess, that's kind of into these things, so to speak, because for some reason my father also kind of has the things. Mr. G. I know his mother's side has also people that were, I guess, intuitive is the word for these things, because his grandmother was also, able to explore and stuff at later age, and I've never met them, but yeah, I've heard the stories, and it's like, wow, I come out of a great family that's able to do all those things. I want to do that too. It's kind of piqued my interest, I guess, where I started to wanting to know more. So.
Yeah. So, do you have any blocks like where it's like pitch black, you can't see anything, or no memories?
I see pretty much nothing. It's pitch black always when I close my eyes, and when I try to visualize, at most I see maybe some faint light, barely seeable, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, it's always pitch black for me. Like even when I try to visualize with my eyes closed, I pretty much have black all the time. So except if I look, outside with the sun and then my eyes closed, then it's red from the sun. But that's it.
Is that something you would like us to focus on, or is there some other things on the list?
I think it would be amazing because I do sometimes have very visual dreams, but not always, and I don't always remember. But when I do, it's very visual, so it doesn't make sense for the physical realm, but it always feels like it makes sense. So, I mean, if that's the next thing to go to, then if you feel that's the one, I'd say go for it.
Yeah, sure. Like so, like last two things, like or like I feel like we still have plenty of time looking into your like ability to get out of body, and then the chakras and possibly the starseed thing. So they at least
Yes.
still have like I think like plenty of time for.
Mm-hmm.
Regarding like getting out of body, like do you remember your dreams when you wake up, or how do you feel when you
sometimes, and as the day goes on, the more minutes pass, then I forget more. I should write it down, but I admit I'm kind of lazy to do all that. I guess I'm a bit of a being that's also likes things to come to me, and I know that's not the way it works. I have to work for it. I know that, but sometimes getting to the point of just doing it, and sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't, and usually the side of don't wins. So I have to work on that. I'm trying, but when you feel physically bad, worse with as time goes on, that's not helping. And then as your physical is feeling bad, your mental gets worse, and then it's again a cycle. That's a cycle, and I have to try and break it. So
Yeah. Now, how do you feel when you wake up in the morning? Like your body wise, like energized, drained?
usually in the past I could wake up like pretty much like a baby, like, hey, it's ready to go. And lately it's like, I don't want to. It's like I want to stay in the bed. I don't want to leave it kind of deal. But it's like, I still have to because I have a little baby girl waiting for me. And for her, she's totally worth it because, you know, while pregnancy, I could make the connection. But the moment she was born and laying on me, that was like instant. She was perfect.
Yeah.
She's been wonderful, even though when at times that she had her allergies or like she's now sick, and then even moments when she's sick, she's still so happy-go-lucky until too much pain, because too much is too much, obviously. But she's been wonderful, and she's keeping me stronger for the most part. So yeah.
Okay. All right, so yeah, I can jump in, like, see what is up with your ability to get out of a body. Why can't you do it as much as you want, and see what happens.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Mhm. That. 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 Big time. That. Mhm. Mhm.
All right. Yeah, so what I'm seeing is like basically at night, like when your physical body falls asleep, you do get out, but like there are certain like spotting places. For example, your like as the body gets out, but you appear close to the sun, Jupiter, Saturn, Moon, and like let's say other like places. And
Mhm.
one other thing is, uh, quite a few beings don't like you wandering around and like learning new things, so they have to stop you, wipe your memories, and push them back in the body. But if you naturally cling to go to certain place and just find information like because of like curiosity, different things, they construct this like let's say black box. So when you get out of body, you're naturally sort of like flowing in that place and you just appear there, but it's all pitch black, and it's like a
Yeah.
little realm, and being stuck and you like seeing nothing, feeling nothing, you know you're out, you know you're there, but there's absolutely nothing. And basically and like, oh, I can't see, I can't get out, I'm stuck. A lot of these phrases, like, is basically programming you, like, they put you in
Yeah.
a black box and programming yourself, like, oh, I can't see anything, I don't feel anything, da da da. Like lots of these phrases, like
Don't
basically
hear,
programming
don't
yourself,
see,
pushing
don't.
back in the body, and
Yeah.
yeah. So there's that. There's also, let's say, they like teleport you, like your actual body, close to the sun, and use your energy to open up portals and stargates and different things. So like a lot of bad guys use you and other people. Let's say they teleport you there, like put you in stasis and like suck your energy out. But the energy is being used to open up the portal so that the bad guys could like come in with their ships and stuff. So like you're constantly draining like all of your energy, your essence, your like even parts of yourself being like stuck, sucked in and going out, and you come back like really like tired, lazy, and like you like super hard to get up. Like, cause like it like probably happens every few nights where they push you out there. They're like done with their mission, like loading this place up with spaceships, and you're back here, and like all of a sudden like no more energy and stuff.
Pretty
So
much, yeah. There are days I'm really drained.
yeah.
Really, that even like I think I mentioned before once in the Discord that my knee it was getting worse because like when you were with your eyes closed, I felt like my knee was kind of building up and then it was like gone with my knee, and like I don't know, like the buzzing in my head was a bit louder as well because it sometimes changes frequency for me as well. Throughout the day, there's higher tones, less higher tones. There's always a tone that's other people apparently don't hear. So um yeah, it does kind of resonate with me, like the not seeing, the not feeling, the not hearing. Yeah, sometimes the dream's really visual but no sound or anything. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be in the dream. So um,
So there's that, and another thing is like they're constantly trying to program you with different commands. So let's say triggering your stuff, and the thing with like chakras, like you mentioned, like feeling like they're out of balance. You're totally right. Because like I'm looking like let's say like chakra will be like like let's say if you see a picture and then like the title is here and this is the sign and stuff. So what they do is like they pull you out of body and they charge you from like various sides to affect the chakra. Let's say to go sideways or like all of a sudden they're upside down, and there's a massive dissonance in the body. And like Rich gave me an example like a few days ago, but it's basically like hitting the nail with a hammer a lot of times. But then when they push you back, you're working like a magnet, but attracting all the negative stuff. So it's like a
yeah,
like resonating like with the negative frequencies and stuff, and like all of a sudden you're the one like attracting it. So I make
yeah,
sure like I put everything back in balance and the way it should be, opening up the chakras and making sure like there's a clear channel like so that energy could go through, closing up all the boxes or like constructs where they teleporting to get you stuck in there. That's also out, and cutting off of the like portals near the sun, so make sure like no more connections there as well.
I guess it's my fault for being too curious because I know I'm very curious even in the physical realm. It's a thing.
Is there a connection that being close to the sun you know how sometimes you can get out in the sun, you're going to relax out in the sun, and you get real sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
Was it?
I know what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. You mean like for?
Yeah, like when she was out, when you were doing the work and you were
Mhm.
seeing like she's close to the sun, is that sort of a sensation as well as that other stuff where they're drawing the energy out of you?
Probably you would know better. Like, do you feel tired when you're like out in the sun, exhausted?
I sometimes do,
Yeah.
but it's not like the same type of tiredness on the beach because I don't really go lay down on the beach in the sun or anything.
Yeah.
I'm usually inside the house.
But I guess like being close to the heat and like walking in the sun,
Mhm.
like that could get like that would make sense too.
Sure.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, like next thing, we can like look at your like other lives, like where like like start see like what kind of like lifetimes you had before here on Earth.
I was really interested in that because I think I once in the Discord asked if it was possible to be like a hybrid. Because when I was reading a few of the types that there are star seeds from, I was like, there are two that kind of resonate with me, but it's like, which one is more? Because I'm not sure if hybrids exist in that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was.
And the thing like with starseeds and like passes and stuff, we lived so long that we probably explored all the roles. So the thing
Yeah,
like looking
I'm
which
pretty
one to
sure.
resonate more with is basically like what happened before you got here on Earth, and which group had like better connection with, like better like families and stuff. And so like the bigger stronger connections like where you feel like more similarities and like connecting with either like Lyrans or Pleiadians or Trucians and like different kind of beings. So we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
And which ones did you felt connection with, like when you read about the types?
I will have to see the names again because I have a really hard time which is what, and I forget a lot of names easily. It's a bad thing, the forgetting. I forget too much.
That's okay. From the idea of a hybrid thing, do you get any kind of like imagery or a sense of a
Image is
kind
not
of body type?
really. Image is not really. I just know I'm really drawn to cats, if that's a thing. I'm a cat crazy person. I like all cats and foxes, but yeah, I guess it's the cat type race. I think that was Lyrian. I'm not fully sure. And then there was another one I read on my father's website that he made. That's not really a thing yet, but there were all the types, and it was the type above it. I would have to check on his website to see what the name above it was really. So.
Do you remember what it looked like?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. Sorry.
We don't really need that. It's just curious.
Okay, so yeah, like I can scan some of the like the parts that you were like before getting here on Earth, what did you do, and all the stuff.
Okay.
All right. And is there anything specific that you would like to know about those lives?
I'm not really sure right now. It's like I just want to know, and I guess the questions will pop up later for maybe next session or so. Right now, it's just like I want to know what I am. So.
All right.
Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, so basically I was exploring a little bit and seeing like your connection with other races. And you know,
Yes.
your pick on the catch race was totally on point because there's a race called Zootrax, and basically,
Super.
yeah,
Never
Zootrax.
heard of it.
And you lived them like 60 years before incarnating here on Earth. So that was like the most recent like lifetime with them. And the whole like race, like you know, like they're cat-like beings, you know, like they can have like lion or target face, but at the same time be like humanoid, like be like 2 feet, two or like hands and stuff, and like use like weapons and different sort of things.
Kind
There's
of
actually,
anthropomorphic.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I, yeah, the furry fan. I'm sorry. I kind of feel drawn to them for some reason.
Yeah. So basically, these beings, you know, like they have their armor and everything. They can teleport throughout the space, and their whole like specialty or what they're like focusing on is looking at any beings that are captured, tortured, raped, and kind of like that, like enslavement and stuff. And they're looking for beings who are like going through this and teleporting to that place, freeing the beings, getting them in a safe place, and making sure they deal with any people who like cause or like harm to others. So like you were one of the beings who were like saving a lot of beings, so like even like people here from Earth, like they get captured and like raped and stuff. Let's say, you know, Grace or like other beings take people or like abduct people here from Earth, and they're gonna impregnate women or something. So your Grace would go and like destroy their ships and basically free people. That was like one of the things that you were doing. And like as the years went by, seeing how much you were focusing on like helping others, there's a like a group of humans, like they're probably connected to the secret space program, but like basically here from Earth, and they're trying to say like, you know, like, hey, there's a lot of people going through this as well here on Earth. They're like being raped and tortured and enslaved. You should definitely come here and help a lot of people because that's what you do, and on Earth you have to be insider to help them out. And it's basically a story to tell to try to get you in, trying to get your agreement, and once they say like, you know, like, oh yeah, I sure can help people on Earth, boom, and you end up here on Earth. So that's one of the ways
That
you can grab you.
kind of feels like me because I always want to help people, even though I don't know how. I always like prepared and willing to help, even if it kind of costs myself at one point. So I mean, yeah, that really resonates with me. I always want to help, even though they don't want it, but I know they need it. It's like I'm gonna help you.
So we can look at like let's say some of the agreements or decisions you've made. You know, like having to help others. It's not like you're like doing on your own will, but feeling like you have to, and then being pushed to come here and there, for example. Any kind of other things that like, limit you, like not knowing how to help, not being able to help, help not appreciated, not being acknowledged, certain things like that. If you have anything to add, feel free to share. And then we can look for, let's say, other aspects of you that you might have lost or like don't have anymore.
Yeah, I always like want to help, but not always know how. That's indeed the thing. It's always appreciated, and then when it's appreciated afterwards, it's not apparently. It's like it's good, but then it's not good. It's weird. It's like how something positive for me always ends up something negative afterwards. It's always a good thing. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'd say go for it. What you feel is best, because I sometimes feel oblivious or totally lost. Like, too much.
All right. And I think that, like, let's say, like, personality-wise, have you had any kind of beingness that you used to be, like, when you were younger, but then you lost those parts, like being more creative, more enthusiastic?
I was way more happy. That's the main thing. Happy, creative, carefree. I was able to focus better, I think, as well.
Mhm.
Even though I was living in my own world, fantasy world as people would call it, I felt I could perceive things more better, that I took it in better. Now it's like I could pass by someone on the street that I know and I wouldn't even notice them. So I mean, in the past I would not feel overwhelmed like I do now. It's yeah. Those type things.
Okay. So I look at some of the agreements that you might have made, like while you were living with the zoo tracks, like what made you come here and different sort of things, like remove any agreements that like like trap you and limit you. Look at this type as well. There's something regarding help, like knowing, not knowing, and different sort of things. And then focus on your like personalities and beingness, and basically reconnect them back to you, and we'll go from there.
Okay, good. Because online I always feel like I can be more myself than around me in my direct environment. It's always have to be different. Gloomy. Because if I'm happy, there's weird people coming towards me. That's like, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
And if you're happy, are you attracting weird people towards you, or actually good?
Yeah, it's like whenever I feel good and I feel like even though I'm trying not to show it too much, I beam it out, I guess, somehow. And then there's like people that are like, they feel iffy. I don't want them near me. And they're like, hey, how are you doing? Starting talk and trying to get into your personal matters and like, oh, hey, you would be a woman I want to be with. It's like, there, I'm married. I'm not, but I'm married. I have a ring. I get all panicky, try not to show it, still be friendly. I cannot like I need to learn my boundaries to give it to people. It's like I can't. I even if they ask things I don't want to reply to, it's like an automatic system. I reply. They have no business with it, but I reply.
Right,
Yeah.
but like I can see if like there's anything like that's attracting them, and maybe like if it's bothering too much, I can get rid of it as well.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Thank you.
Bad. Big time. Mhm. Bad. Bad. Mhm. Bad. Bad. Mhm.
All right. Yeah, I was looking through your like past life agreements where like like you're being limited. Like one of the bigger things is like as if like you're being put in a box and suppressed in that sort of way where like your own personal world is like so small and you're like in the middle that there's no breathing space even for you, and you can't like grow and expand in any sort of way. Like like emotions and things come up, but only to a certain level because like otherwise like it's pushing you out the box, and then like getting back at you with like bigger suppression. So like I destroyed the box that you could like constantly expand and like have all the free space, and at the same time it's like other people, like let's say they have their own energy shield or whatever, but like when they get in your space it like constantly crushes you and pushes you and like deforms so like that's how it is again. Like any agreements like keep you like with not knowing, not being like clear and stuff, not like being unfocused is out. So like these sort of things are like on the list, and I was like looking for your other aspects of self, like like with more happiness, more desire, like with curiosity and all other stuff, and they're back for integrated. So it's basically like take your own time, see what happens, see like where these things appear, and like we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it has to evolve again, kind of deal, to where it was. Well, that's what I assume anyway. Amazing. Yeah, because I always feel like I was being placed in the box, like in the physical realm already. So it's like, you have to be in this or this or this. I'm like, no, you don't always fit in a box or in any or all. You have to be yourself, your uniqueness. And I don't know, yeah. That resonates again with me. So, yeah. Amazing.
So how are you doing?
I'm feeling good. Like, as you were, I guess, doing the box thing, in my right ear, I felt the frequency change a bit. Well, that's the best way I can explain. Anyway, it's like higher, a bit lower, lower. No, it changed a bit. So yeah, that was nice to It's not like it went from mono to stereo, which I had pregnancy that was driving me nuts. But like hearing the tones change in that way was different for me. Yeah. So that was amazing.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, do you have any tips or anything else to add?
No, I think you did a really good job covering the things we had time to cover. And yeah.
Yeah, I feel we covered a lot already. It's like, wow, I didn't think it would be this fast, honestly. Yeah. Wow, amazing.
Do we have more, or was it? Are you scheduled for another session, or are you thinking about it, or what? I'm not sure.
My father was first going to look for himself, but he was debating on letting me go first because he was kind of saying to me recently, like, I think you need more than I do. I'm like, but you have to look at yourself. So we're still kind of, we're planning who's going first.
Okay.
Because he's always scheduling for me. So.
Oh, that's great. Well, yeah, just let us know, and we're ready to go.
Okay, amazing. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon, and otherwise it will be my father, so Mr. G.
Okay, and tell him we said hi too.
I will do. Thank you very much. Yeah, it was nice to be a one-to-one person. Amazing. Thank you. Bye.
That's not how it goes.
I will do. Thank you.